At Bulldog Burger, we take the burger game to the next level, like the Freshman 15, stacked with panko fried mozzarella. Unleash your appetite.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Good evening and welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. It is our Thursday evening, one more day in that work week and a fantastic day at that. So if you weren't able to enjoy the beautiful conditions today, well, tomorrow, that's your day, especially with football on the horizon. So one of the things we're tracking here in the Room to Room Weather Center is the latest on those rain chances. Most recent model runs have come out. Is there at least a little bit of hope? We'll have a look at that in more detail coming up in a few moments. Another cool start for our Friday, although it's not going to be as cool as this morning. Some clouds helping out with that, but again, we'll talk more detail coming up in just a moment. And if football needs the jacket, but not rain jackets, it's going to be more of those warm jackets because by the end of the game, we're talking about a cool forecast. So buckle up and have that jacket on standby. The first 12, 61 degrees by 11, 60 there by 2, and we are cooling off into the upper 50s for our Friday morning. So enough to have the long sleeves handy, but as we track that forecast out, won't need it by the afternoon. Already 70 degrees by 11, so a comfortable forecast even as we extend into our football forecast that evening. But Matt, I know that you are excited about heading out. I see that you're repping last week's gear.
Yeah.
So just excited to get back out there and do our game of the week, right?
Absolutely. Excited for our game of the week. Excited for the voting going on with that so far this evening. Tabs there at the top, we got those ready to go. But yeah, the voting's still ongoing. Appreciate everyone who's voted so far. Fairly close competition for band. You can see about 428 there for the Choctaw County band. And at this point here, we're looking, yeah, you can pull that up there, about 556. So Aberdeen running a little head on band. It is actually, I think, just a little tighter over on Instagram there. If you look up at the top, and you can mouse over on that one there. As you can see, Aberdeen band has 192 likes, and then Choctaw County sitting at 226. So again, those kind of balancing each other out. Anybody's, I guess, band competition. What's the word I'm looking for? Anybody's march off?
March off?
I don't know if that's right there.
Maybe that's this generation's
band
term.
duel.
Duel, we can call it that.
Yeah, okay, we'll call it that. Anyway, as far as the cheer and spirit squads of the week, at this point, Aberdeen ahead at 246 on Instagram and about 237. So that's
Tight.
almost tight there. But if you go over to Facebook, it's a slightly bigger gap between the two. About 725 for Choctaw County there, as you can see, going over the... Yeah, 954. So Aberdeen is just a little bit ahead. So we'll see. Last day, typically, there ends up being a fairly big swing. I think the kids start sending it around school there, but we're excited for tomorrow night. They're going to probably be wearing extra layers. We'll be probably wearing some as well because it's getting chilly into the evening, right?
Definitely have learned our lesson from a couple weeks ago. Had the jacket last week and it was comfortable. I was in shorts and a long sleeve and that was enough to get by. So I think that we'll be able to survive off that again this week.
And we don't want to get coughs like that.
No.
That's just a little tickle, but it's that time of year where if you're not bundling up, make sure you don't want to catch a death of cold.
You catch a literal cold from the cold.
Well, absolutely. And in my case, I think it's taken, again, not a doctor, but, like I end up getting the cold, get the drainage, and then once the drainage starts getting there and coughing back and sinusitis takes over. It really is. So, game on for the games. We're excited to be at Aberdeen and Choctaw County for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. And again, appreciate Casey Lott for sponsoring us all season long as part of this great affair.
Big time. Hey, and I guess tomorrow's coverage is going to be your flu game coverage like Jordan, right? Because you'll have a cold and have to do our coverage. So
I don't know if I have a full
version of
I think it's just a tickle at this point. I think we've not gone full on cold. Better not.
I think Jordan's was a hangover. So flu game is subjective. So.
Okay, gotcha.
As long as it's not that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But, obviously, drought conditions continuing to expand, unfortunately, again today. I'm sure you'll be talking about that a little bit more here in a couple minutes.
For sure. And just the fact that we don't have any rainfall in the forecast. This is going to be a pretty miserable forecast on that expanded front, but I know that you got to get some rest before tomorrow evening, right? So
yep, absolutely. And then big weekend. Again, if you missed our announcement, this weekend we leave for Australia, and appreciate MLM. They're going to be sponsoring our coverage as we tour down under. Not looking forward to 32 hours of travel time, body time, as far as that's concerned. But we looked it up. It's only like technically on the books 7 hours back when you look at
Is it
go
'cause traveling
across
with
the
the jet?
international date line and everything like that. So it's 7 hours, even though it's another 32 back.
Is there also, you know, I've seen whenever I've traveled too, that there's some flight times that are less because you're traveling with the jet at that point?
We're coming from so far south. Maybe I think you're probably cutting against it initially
That's true,
there.
because you're
So I think
crossing
it probably evens out since we're going north to south so much there.
An interesting thing, that could be an addition of it. You just talk about the difference in the jet streams and how your interaction with it.
I was talking to somebody who used to work at CNN International. Chris Smith, who's actually down Panhandle weather. If you happen to go to the Florida Panhandle, he and Dan Nyman started a version of this down there for the coast. Anyway,
Killing it,
great
by the
folks
way.
doing
Yeah.
a great job. But he was talking about how no matter how often you look at the weather maps for the Southern Hemisphere, it never gets normal to see things going clockwise, and it's cyclonic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's completely flipped in regards to what we experience here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So it's so cool, and one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for, confusing topics whenever we were in school, like, it flips? That makes
Flips.
no
Do
sense.
the toilets go different? No, that's just the way the water comes out. Anyway, not a big enough system.
So
for
there's
that.
your video that you do for one of the days, just video the toilet.
Oh my God. I don't know if MLM's going to like that one. I probably will actually do that and post that on social media. But anyway.
That'll definitely be a feature at some point. Probably the late night shows, and we'll call it Mississippi Live After Dark.
Oh man, that's how we end up on a late night show. They're like, oh no, now TV people are literally going to the toilet.
Yeah, it's
anyway.
literally a crap performance by then.
Oh
But
man. Okay, head on here, and I'm gonna get out of here.
Well,
get out of your hair.
No crap about this forecast. It is a phenomenal forecast at that, as you can see.
We'll
right
stay
here.
away from the C word.
I'm going to stop using it.
But while the FCC is not an issue on this,
It felt a little dirty to say.
yeah,
so.
no potty talk. Okay.
Well, as you can see, the first 12, 61 degrees by 11, but cooling off into those overnight hours, 58 degrees for that morning commute. But as the day goes on, temperatures start to climb and that sunshine will be exposed, and of course enjoying that a bit more as the day goes on. Now, once we get into our cameras, you can really see the beautiful skies there in the forecast, 65 degrees, dew points currently at 58. Both of those falling back in that extended forecast, and we'll continue to enjoy that in Lowndes County, also out there towards Union County and Blue Springs. 57 degrees, dew point 52. A few folks out there on the roads in I-22, but overall a calm forecast for those drivers. Dare I say, a few of them may even have the heat on just to compensate for some of those cooler conditions. Mississippi Live Weather Radar, of course, showing those drier conditions in place. Current drought monitor, if we come over here real quick, I'm going to change this over to analysis mode and show that drought monitor here real quick, because I don't know if I put it in this show right here, but it won't take but just a second to pull it up. There you see that level 4 drought extending into Lowndes County. So for folks in Caledonia, hey, you guys are used to those dry conditions, but level 3 drought getting into Yalobusha, Grenada. It's been in Calhoun, but starting to expand just a bit more. And even for parts of Webster County. Webster almost having the rainbow of drought down there with both level 1, level 2, and level 3 drought as of this point. So folks down there needing some rainfall, folks all across North Mississippi needing that rainfall, and we're continuing to be anticipating that in the extended forecast, but not really expecting it, right? So let's get back into our Mississippi Live Weather Radar right here, where again, it's dry conditions, calm skies all out there across the region. A few light showers out there towards Alabama and Atlanta, Georgia, and even out there towards those coastal regions. Speaking of panhandle weather, probably tracking a little bit of that on those coastal regions. But North Mississippi, dry as can be. And that's really where we'll sit for the next several days, honestly. Here you see some of those rainfall totals, and we did get a few of those showers get close. Tuscaloosa County got about an inch out there towards northwest Georgia, 1.5 inches, but you notice none of that here in North Mississippi. Just highlighting a few of those totals, zeros all across the board. So no, this is not going to be a rainy forecast. Wasn't today, won't be tomorrow, and we're continuing to track that on our surface analysis out as well. As we expand things out, you can definitely see that we are seeing that front clear there into the Atlantic, left with high pressure here. We do have a weaker high pressure system right over the top of us, or should I say over the top of us, a little bit out there towards the northwest, and that's cycling in some of that cooler air. Those northern winds continue to cycle on in. So we'll continue to enjoy that on the extended forecast for our weekend plans. Perfect timing is always my motto around this time of the week, because if we can get those dry conditions for our weekend, then hey, that's a phenomenal forecast. We want those rain chances primarily early in the week as those those cycle on through. So Friday morning, dry as can be, a few of those showers trying to inch closer, but this is what we've been saying, where we're not expecting much of anything in regards to rainfall. A lot of that just going to be Virga, very high up in the sky, maybe a few drops reaching the surface there towards Noxubee and Pickens County, but again, not overly high on those rain chances. Your best bet will actually be here towards Augusta, Georgia, as that Atlantic moisture tries to get up in there, the subtropical storm, but here in North Mississippi, not at all. If anything, it's just going to be those clouds transitioning to those sunny skies by the afternoon. So the next 24 does show those cool conditions to start, 58 degrees by 6, climbing to the low 70s there by 12, and then upper 70s there by 3 p.m., still with abundant sunshine as the day goes on. So if you're not making plans to get outside, if you're not making plans to go to a high school football game, then what are you doing? You're missing out big time. But if you are heading out to those football games or just wanting to get outside, we'll have a full look at that forecast coming up live from the Room to Room Weather Center for Mississippi Live Weather at 10, coming up in the next minute.
Join the Chickasaw and Kana Foundation for the 5th annual Piamico Day wreath laying ceremony at Fair Park in downtown Tupelo on October 13th. Starting at 10 a.m., enjoy demonstrations of Chickasaw history and culture, followed by the wreath laying ceremony at noon.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynard.
Continuing to enjoy a beautiful night here in the Magnolia State, right here in Lee County. Tupelo showing those beautiful skies, a little bit of a haze right there. Some of those clouds start to move in from the east to west, but 57 degrees, not putting a damper on those temperatures, already in the upper 50s, and for some locations, I mean, we could be trending in the low 50s once again. West Point 65 degrees, so that shows a few counties difference, already showing an 8-degree difference in the sky. So it is going to be noticeably warmer down there in Clay County compared to Lee County, but all counties going to be cooling off into those overnight hours, still too similar to what we had this morning. Winona 59 degrees, and you do see more of those stars there in the sky, so that does show some more clear skies, and that's what we can expect for a lot of folks out west, along and west of I-55. So just a drier, clearer forecast over here on the east side of the state, though. Getting a little bit of that moisture moving on in. So Mississippi Live Weather Radar, as you can see, dry, clear, no rainfall in the forecast. And while that is a good thing for outdoor plans, not exactly a recipe for success when it comes to our drought monitor. We saw that a brief moment ago. Level 4 drought starting to creep into the forecast, and that could spell worse conditions in that extended forecast. So midnight 61 degrees, cooling off into the upper 50s there by 6 a.m. Partly cloudy conditions as we get into that morning commute, and that's what's going to limit just how much we cool off into our morning commute. So Thursday night, as you can see, dry conditions, that northerly wind still cycling into the area, but it's going to be this easterly push that starts to bring a little bit of cloud cover into the area. No rainfall really expected within that, but what we're going to get is primarily just those partly cloudy skies, and partly cloudy skies acting as a blanket, trapping what's left of that heat. Yes, some green blips are popping up. Yes, a couple drops of rainfall are possible, but it's not going to be significant rainfall, and it's really going to be elevated for a lot of these showers that are showing up on Futurecast. But we mentioned that the further east you are, the warmer it'll be. Well, looking at temperatures says that exact story. You can see 60 in Columbus, 60 Aliceville, 58 Vernon, and then 55 there towards Red Bay. If we jump out west, 51 Tunica, 52 Senatobia, and 53 Water Valley. There's your two sides of the forecast, but either way, we're not in the mid 60s or low 70s like what we were this past week or a couple of weeks ago. Your school day forecast, 57 degrees, and of course climbing as the day goes on, 70 by lunch, and then 77 towards that final bell. Plenty of sunshine as the day goes on, so that's why I say, if you are not getting outside, you are missing out on a great forecast. Let's get back into that Futurecast for our Friday, because I know a lot of folks for your Friday evening will be very busy. You can see right here, clear conditions across North Mississippi. That cloud cover does build ever so slightly there into the Golden Triangle region, and for folks down south, that's 9 a.m. on your Friday. As the day goes on, you can see that cloud cover almost retreating or dissolving as the morning goes on and into that early afternoon time frame. There we're going to be left with this thin cloud cover. It basically is like when you look at the sky and there's almost a haze. That's the type of cloud cover we'll be seeing on a large part of North Mississippi. So that means that sunshine is still getting to the ground. It's just going to be blocked ever so slightly by that little thin layer of cloud cover. 1:30 on your Friday, those clouds trying to linger, but overall going to be clear conditions. And as you can see, I mean, this is a large driver in that forecast as well. Very little winds. And so that's going to allow those temperatures to warm as the day goes on, not getting that relief like we've been having with those 5 to 10 mile an hour breezes. We're going to be about 0 to 5 at times throughout the day. So into your evening plans, you do see cloud cover pushing more into the region, but what do you not see? Rainfall. And that is the golden part of our forecast for our Friday night football games. We'll track that here in just a moment. 79 degrees New Albany, Water Valley, 80 there towards Grenada, and 81 around Belzona. We are seeing 79 there towards Greenville, but no matter where you're at, dry conditions are in the forecast. Pre-game about 76 degrees, 66 by halftime, and as we head into those evening forecasts, 62 degrees. So when we say chilly, chilly might be a stretch. Cooler is what we'll use for it. I know that it was about mid-60s last week as we reached that 10 o'clock hour, and I personally was in a jacket, comfortable as can be in a jacket. So go ahead and have that on standby, because as we reach that final snap, maybe even by halftime, we could be talking about jacket weather. So it keeps you safe, keeps you warm. It's exactly what we want, especially as we enjoy those football games. Hey, the third and fourth quarters when things get good, right? We need to be there for it. So into that 9 p.m. hour, as those games are in the peak of the action, we will see that cloud cover still trying to linger there east of I-55. That starting to retreat, and we'll be left with clear conditions into our Saturday night. But what do you notice out here towards the west? It's this little boundary that's starting to develop there towards Arkansas that could get a few of those light showers towards West Helena, Clarksdale, Shelby, and into the Olive Branch community as we near that overnight hour and into the start of our Saturday. The reason why is you see this cold front that's dipping a little bit more south, and earlier on wasn't this far south. So what that could mean is we do see a pop-up shower or two as we get into our Saturday, but watch how this front progresses into our region just a bit and then starts to retreat out there towards the east-northeast. So we're going to get very little impacts, not exactly going to be a temperature changer, but what it will do is maybe give us 1 or 2 pop-up showers throughout our Saturday, but that, of course, starting to push out there towards the east-northeast, away from us here in North Mississippi, so not really getting any benefits from it besides a drop or two throughout the day. So high temperatures on your Saturday, we said they weren't going to drop. They're actually going to climb about a degree or two with 81 Amory, Tupelo, 82 Columbus, and 81 around Macon, so just warming as the days go on. So your Saturday forecast for SEC football, of course, the further north you go, a little bit cooler. The effects of that front really being felt in Columbia, Missouri. 67 by that first place, 74 by halftime, and climbing to the mid-70s there by that final snap. Dry conditions as the game goes on, so not expecting any impacts from that front, fortunately. So if you're traveling with the Crimson Tide, you should be enjoying a great game. And hopefully, it is a ranked matchup, but hopefully, we'll see who wins. We will see who wins. But I know Matt would be heavy Roll Tide on that. Washington State traveling to Oxford to take on the Ole Miss Rebels. 11:45 is your kickoff. As you can see, 71 by that first play, upper 70s by halftime, and continuing that same trend there towards that final snap. Sunshine abundantly shining all game long, so you better get out there to the Grove to cheer on the Rebels. This should be a great game, and they are the number 4 team in the nation right now. What more reason do you need at this point? So your weekend forecast, 81 degrees Saturday, 83 Sunday. Again, a lot of sunshine going to be seen both days, but it's really those morning lows that'll be the story. 52 Saturday, 53 by Sunday. A few upper 40s also expected within areas along the Tennessee state line, but that remains to be seen, and one of the things we're going to continue to watch as we get into that Friday forecast. Into next week, Monday and Tuesday do warm up into the mid to possibly even upper 80s, but you do notice that difference between the high and low temperature. 58 to 87. So that shows drier air is still in the atmosphere. So this is not going to be the same 85 and 86 that we had earlier this week, where it was more of a sticky forecast. This is going to be one that is very dry, very enjoyable, and definitely something that we need to be looking forward to. So you can track that forecast. I know we are heading into the next several days of calm conditions, but this has temperatures, this has rain chances, this has everything you need to know right at the palm of your hands. The Mississippi Live Weather app available today. It also has access to our 24/7 stream and our live shows that happen at 5, 6, and 10 if you're able to tune in today. But our next broadcast happening at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley, giving you the latest on your Friday forecast, your football games, and your weekend ahead. Make sure to tune in, but have a great night until then.